Gaming on Linux is a very, very scary topic, very scary story if you are a non Linux user. And if you're considering or curious how things are over here on Linux side, then I will try to share my experience. So basically, for me, every single game that I tried to play worked fine on my Linux setup, on my Linux Mint. Everything that I was playing or running on Windows works completely fine on Linux. Like, I didn't have to do a whole lot. I just had to set up bottles, basically just to be able to run my exe games through Proton GE. All this sounds maybe very scary or technical if you don't know what any of this is, but it's very, very simple. So basically, you install a program, you use that program to play Windows games, basically. And if you do not know, then Windows programs are all exe. So basically, they have .exe extension, so you can play that without issue. And I played Elden Ring, Takes Two, Overcooked, Metro Exodus, and some other game, like different games, basically Call of Duty, Modern Warfare Remaster, and essentially every single game I tried to run to my delight ran without an issue. Like, it is very straightforward process. You just install it, you play it. If you, for example, have Steam, most of your games on Steam, then it's even simpler. You install Steam, you click play, just the same way you do on Windows, and it just runs. So far, the only game that I play that I haven't been able to on Linux Mint is League of Legends. And that is, again, like, based on what I can understand, League of Legends or Riot does not support Linux. It is not that Linux doesn't support the game. It's that the company doesn't want to support their game on this platform. And I do not know why. I guess Riot is has a very, very interesting reputation as a small indie company, right? Mostly Riot is very, very inept in many ways. Or at least that's the status quo, right? So it's weird because on Mac I can play League of Legends on my Mac, which I'm doing now, but can't do it on Linux simply because Riot doesn't want to support it. And there are very, very few online games, or maybe some online games, that are not supported because of their anti-cheat, but it's a whole big different issue. And if you want to play some online games with their anti-cheat, you need to verify how that game works. But if it's any single player game, there shouldn't be any issue. You shouldn't fear. It's very simple, very straightforward, and performance is about the same. Maybe there's like a few FPS difference, whether for better or worse, depending on the game, depending on your hardware, but it's very, very similar and not problematic at all. There might be some things that you should try to figure out, depending on, again, your hardware, your use case. There are things like Proton GE that you might want to check out, but that's a whole other topic. And in terms of distro, there is again a very interesting discussion that certain distros are better for gaming and certain distros are bad for gaming. And I hear that Linux Mint is not ideal distribution for video games, but I'm gonna use Linux and I'm gonna use Mint. So basically, if I'm using Linux, it's probably gonna be Mint. And I have no desire to try any other distro. And my experience on Linux Mint has been fantastic. I am absolutely happy with it. I have no regrets, no problems whatsoever. There could be some, for example, with running older games, there could be an issue where you need to download and install some dependency programs like Microsoft.NET, this thing, or Visual Studio something, blah blah blah. I can never remember how it's actually what's its actual name. But then again, you might have the same issue on Windows. At least I had, and I hear that Windows stops really being very compatible with older games anyway, so it's much easier on Linux to play older games if that's what you want. So basically, yeah. One thing that really makes me happy with Linux is that something that wasn't really possible on Windows or really Mac for that is that if I have a problem and something doesn't work, then most likely I'm screwed. It doesn't work and it's probably never will, or it will not in foreseeable future. I cannot do anything. In terms of Linux Mint, I have this feeling that if something doesn't work, it's fixable, and either I need to find a solution or come up with a solution on my own. So basically, you can do it. It is fixable. There is a solution. There is a workaround. You can get things to run. On Mac and on Windows, if you want to do something and there isn't really an easy way to do it, then probably it's just not possible and you can't do anything with that anyways. It's a weird thing, especially with video games. Like sometimes I try to run older games and they just don't for some reason, and I don't know what to do. Where with Linux, there are like certain things you can do to fix problems, fix dependency issues, fix compatibility issues, and it's fixable, which is really, really awesome. So basically, yeah, it is easy, it is good, you can do it.